Alright, so now we are going to append some custom shaders. I have built it from CynicatPro's tutorial. I will link them both together. You will get these shaders, and I will also make some tutorial, the making of with soundless tutorial. It will be a soundless tutorial, so watch it. So I have already append them, and there is my dielectric mod. Sorry, I'm not going to use dielectric here. It is a metallic mod because coin is metal. So let's start working on it. So first of all, I'm going to delete this diffuse, don't need that. Control Shift, and it will be our dielectric material. Plug in the normal, and here we go. So I think it's a very dim background. Let's use something light. By the way, these HDRs has come from SIBL library. Alright, I'm using the Topanga forest here. So what we need to do here is basically set our mind how should we use these textures. So first of all, there is a metallic color and there is a rim color. I'm going to turn it off because we don't need it. Let's use some roughness. We're going to use something. So this is actually a pure metal, so increase it 7.5 for time being. So now what we are going to do is basically let's do it like that, and we're going to load our PBR chart here. Sorry, let's go to UV image editor and let's load our PBR chart. Okay, so first of all, what we need is our base color. So it should be on silver. So let's create a new image. We will need that here. So let's create a new image here. New image, I'm going to name it base silver. It should be into 2. Let's use alpha here, but the alpha should be black here. Okay, not a problem. So let's create it, and let's press F3 to save it. Black silver. Okay, done. So what we need to do is basically create an image. I can duplicate it, Shift D. It should be a color data. So let's see the basic is basically we're going to put all the base colors first, like roughness colors and our silver base color and things like that. Then we're going to start working. So this is our base color. You can also name it if you want to. You can label it like silver base, something like that. So it will be silver base. Alright, pretty good. So let's use silver base here. Yes, silver. Okay, that's good. So now let's start working on some texture. So let's go to the texture paint mode. You can see everything is converted here. So we will need our Dotnod here, and we don't need any sort of view here. So let's draw texture UV off. Alright, so we will need it. Let's go to T, and you can see our draw here. So this is a slot, this is the base silver, right? And unfortunately it just go away and on. So anyway, so what we need here is basically a base color. Let's go to Tool, let's go to Fill, and let's sample this color of aluminium, silver. There we go. So we have the color here, you can see. So now let's put it on, let's connect it to the color directly. Alright, so it is black because everything is black here. So now put some color. Let's go to Fill. I'm going to strength of 1. I'm using mouse. Use your pen whenever you can. So this is our base color. It has been installed here. Pretty good. So what we need now is basically, let's duplicate this guy, and what we need now is actually our another image. So first of all, save this image, all this. Now let's create a new image. We're going to name it rough base, because we're going to use a base color here too, and it can be alpha check, no problem, but the color should be as all the base colors, it should not have the alpha. All right, that is one thing. Okay, let's press F3, save it, and that's silver. All right, so we will need some base silver color here, so let's put it here in our roughness map. Okay, because it will be our roughness. Everything is black, so that is a hide off. So we are using a metallic shader here, so the roughness should be from the metallic values. All right, it has the non-metallic. Non-metallic is reverse, and metallic is here. So white is white. And all right, so we need something like 0.3 to 0.4 type of glossiness. I mean the roughness. So let's slot it out here. So this is our base silver. We should use it should be not the base silver, it should be oh, we didn't load it here, so load it, the base, that is rough base. There we go. So this is our rough base, and we're going to chart it from 0.4 to 0.5, sorry, 0.3 to 0.4, something like that. So let's sample this color here, 0.3 to 0.4. Yep. So now what I'm going to do is basically go to the rough base. This is our slot, rough base, and let's fill it. Alright, so it has been filled. That's it. Alright, that's good. So let's press Alt S to save it. So our base colors are ready. I can name it the rough base, that is rough base. We're naming it just to it's not necessary. Okay, if you're using non-color, okay, it should be color. Yeah. All right, so for the scratches, we're going to use the rough base again, the rough slot here, and these guys should be merged together. So I'm just going to use mix RGB. There we go, and let's use these. Remember, this is our top and this is our bottom in Photoshop layer actually. Okay, so rough, the base rough should be in bottom, and we will change it so it will be here. So let's create a new image here again, and we're going to name it scratches. Okay, this time we're going to use alpha of 0, because in Photoshop all the new layers is actually transparent, then we are going to overlap it. So this is the philosophy here, and I'm going to obviously save this image, F3, enter. Here we go. So let's find out these scratches here. So scratches, there we go. So in the slot panel, it should only have the scratches. That is good. So here we are going to use a Dotnod again with let's draw pattern. So scratches are not very much reflective, so we're going to use something like 0.7 to 0.8 here, pretty much, yeah. So 0.7 to 0.8. So let's go to the tool. Let's select the draw color here, and we're going to sample these, so something like that, and we're going to use some scratches with some masking texture. Right, so let's go to texture mask, press new, and here in this panel we're going to brush mask texture 001, and we're going to open up our file here, with the custom textures. Yep. Here, these are a scratch. So you can see that from these stencils, and now we're going to paint some scratches here. We cannot see it because we haven't joined them together. Let's go to the screen, use factor 1, and let's join them together again in the roughness panel. Alright, now we're seeing something, and the rough base should have an alpha factor here. There we go. Okay, so it is deriving the alphas from the rough base and taking the factors here. So now we're seeing our scratches. So yeah, so that is the philosophy. So now I'm going to scratch randomly, and I'm coming back. Alright, so these are our scratches. Pretty random scratches. It is not, in total. So I want to show you the beauty of these layer-based system. Alright, so here you can use many type of sections, like multiply. You can use subtract. You can use something like overlay, and maybe something like color, many operations. Just use it with your own taste. It doesn't matter how you are doing it. So one is difference here. It can create lots of interesting stuff for you, which is really cool. So use it with your own taste. So it's kind of Photoshop thing. So we can add it to for some grunge effects. Also, another thing what people has been asked me for a long time, that is how to erase things. Well, if you are having the alpha, so you're in good luck. So let's go to mix, and this is the erase alpha. Okay, so now we can actually remove our alphas from here. So let's turn it off, the texture, and you can actually remove your alphas. Here you can see that. Also, you can use the paint mode here to just to erase things. I am using the strength very low, so there we go. So you can see that, pretty amazing. Also, you can use your texture. Why not? You can use your texture to erase some dust or scratches or weathering, whatever you want to say that. So it's pretty amazing. Okay, use that. I was kind of wrong about the rough base. Actually, it is actually the scratches alpha, not the rough base. This is the rough base alpha. Rough base doesn't have any alpha. All right, so just name it scratches. You can do it just overboard thing. Now what we are going to do is basically start working on oxide. That is coming from albedo, or this one, the color property. So before everything, let's select these three and put it in Control J. So it will create a node here. We can name it. It is always better to use some organization. So this will be our roughness map. All right, so you can see your roughness map directly. Control Shift and so the screen. So this will be our roughness for now on. All right, so that's it. So Control Shift, there we go. So yeah, so now let's talk about the oxide. For oxide, we don't need actually this. We will use a new measure, and let's name it oxide, and it should always have the alpha because we're overlaying. F3, save it. Now let's create a new layer. Shift D. It should be oxide. So we will need a mix RGB here, mix RGB, and the oxide should be in top, alpha should be in factor, and the silver base should be in bottom. So that's it. And now let's chain it here. Here we go. And now let's paint it out. So we will need some oxide. Let's get new texture 03 here. I'm going to my portal, custom texture. There we go. We have the rust. Alright, so let's paint it over and let's see what we can come up with. So erase alpha, let's use mix. There we go. Strength here. Okay, fine. We don't have any texture mask yet, so let's see. Okay, it is coming great. Alright, so you can use mix, you can use multiply it just over your test, you know. Let me check it out and I'm coming back which one should work. Okay, I think the multiply should work pretty fine here. So let's undo this and let's start working. So we can use random, we can use stencil if you want to. I think we should use some low strength here, and let's see how we're getting it. Yeah, pretty good. Actually I'm using mouse. Use your pen whenever you can. Yeah, it could be detailed. Okay, let's use some mask here if we can. So we have already some mask, and let's mask it with view plane. Yeah, let's use some pointiness curve here if we can. So then the mask is really making it rect. Alright, let's use some point. So you know, you got the idea. Just paint it with your own test. So I'm going to mute it and let's time lapse. Let's have some time lapse. So after spending some time, we have come up with this, and what I have found is a very interesting matter, that if I'm going to use something like, you know, a value, it will look amazing. So we're going to use this property, obviously. Let's use this, and let's go to where we were, basically the multiply. So I'm going to get back to our object mode. Our painting is done, so not to worry about too much. So let's shift D and let's use the alpha from here, and let's use the color property from here. It should be in top, and let's use the combined property here. It should be in bottom. Alright, so pretty cool. Let's use this as our multiplier. Oh, that works well. So yeah, let's use value. I think it will look amazing with this setup. Yeah, perfectly nice. So this is the beauty of our texture and workflow. You can use it as a 3D Photoshop, like Substance or something like that, you know. And the most important thing is that Substance have layer system. It has more advanced, that is the node system. That is awesome. All right, so that's it. That will be our I'm not touching the bottom. So that will be our albedo. So it's time to rock on. So let's do it. Control J, and let's name it our what albedo. So now it's time for another thing that is called micro bump. So let's get started. For bump map, it is actually pretty much straightforward. Just create a bump map. Here we go, and plug it here. It's obviously like, you know, create a new image. We can name it micro bump, but actually it also should be, you know, alpha, but we're not going to use that. We're going to use some other techniques. But let me see. So here again, it is pretty much straightforward. Just, you know, just go to Shift D. It should be a color data, and let's go to micro bump and hide it. With that, use some kind of strength, like, you know, we can adjust it later, so 0.2 something. Yep, let's go to texture paint again, press N, sorry, T. We don't need that. Let's use slot. We're in micro bump. That is cool. Alright, so we're going to use some texture, random texture. So I can just paint it here. Just use stencil. Oh, sorry. We need to go to off. There we go. What is happening? We're view plane. Okay, let's use texture here. Sorry, it is bump map, right? So it has to be like that. Yeah. So the bump map, in bump map you can use stencil to make interesting bumps. You can use some strength, something like that, small bumps. Yeah, so I'll play with it, but we are not going to use this kind of bump. We're going to use something called oxidation. So oxides has, you know, this red oxides has some bump, so we're going to use that. This is also a beauty of node texture, that we can manipulate many things together. So let's delete this guy, we don't need that. Alright, and let's turn off texture paint mode, we don't need that too. So let's get big. Yeah. So oxide has come from these red channels had come from the albedo, so we're going to merge it with our bump. So let's use separate RGB here, separate RGB, and place it with color, and we're going to use some random some red values here. You can see the red values. So red, there are red, green, blue. I think blue will work fine too if you want to, but I'm going to use red. Okay. So how about creating let's plug it in and let's see what happens. Under shift, yeah. So now we're getting the red bumps out of it, right? Pretty amazing. So we can use the strength here. It is pretty much loss of strength. Let's use something like 0.002. It's getting tiny. Okay, let's use 0.01. and adjust it with your bumps. Yeah, 0.01 is looking good. 0.1, let me see that. 0.1, yep, it is coming. 0.05, that will be our bump details, something like that, or you can increase it 0.08. Alright, enough. So we can use it. Also what we can do is basically making a curve. This is also a beauty of Node, I'm telling you. So what you can do is here Ctrl Shift, and you can, you know, extreme it. I mean, you know, there will be some bumps and there will be no bumps, something like that. So let's use it like that. Yeah, something similar like that. Okay. Yep. So now let's see what we are having. Yeah, it's cool, but I think the level is a bit tough here. Use something like that. Yeah, I think that should work pretty fine. Yeah, so we're getting these bumps. It has some essential element with it. I think that is good. I think we have a lamp and point. Yeah, let's use them, but the point light is too high, so I'm just going to 100 strength. That is, so let's use 10 just to see our details. Yeah, I think it looks awesome. This micro details will essentially will look pretty fine. So that's it. So this is about the micro bumps. And if you want to use, again, if you want to manipulate it much more, you can do it. You can do it with the things we have done here, the mix RGB, and you can merge them and do whatever you want. So that's it. So up next we are going for something like baking, and this will be essentially the end of the tutorial. So let's see.